What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZORA today, ZORA. It is the 11th day of November, and I just want to say a special shout out to all the veterans out there. Happy Veterans Day on this 11th day of November. We got about 7 hours and 25 minutes left in this day by the way of the charts. Depending on your time zone, you probably have more time than that left in the day. But anyways, enough shenanigans. Here we are at about 6.1 cents now, and I'm making this video today because, and typically, over the past week or so, over the past few weeks, I've even made videos with Zora incorporating other cryptos because I don't think Zora's been that exciting. Zora is getting its own video today because I think that it is worth talking about. I think that it's important to talk about because where we are now, if I could talk, it's important to talk about it. I just can't talk properly. Where we are now is likely a low point, a low area, or very, very near the low area, a point where we are undervalued, I think notably undervalued, and we are about to break out and see new all-time highs altogether. I mean, just imagine back here, right? All the people who were wishing they bought at these levels. Like if I just bought right before it popped off, man, you've got this opportunity in abundance over the past week now, and we're not going to go to this level. We're not going to see a 100% pump from here. We're going to see new all-time highs. We're going to see multi-100% pump from here. That's what we're going to see going into the end of this year, especially. Let's talk about that actually. Let's look at the weekly time frame here. Where might the next target areas be for Zora when we move higher? Now, I think context is key, right? You started off here with your Coinbase chart, moving down, weeks of accumulation down here, about a month's worth, and then you had a massive rally, okay? So there clearly was some initial distribution, right, from the listing, some accumulation down here, and then boom, we rallied super freaking hard. My thoughts are this consolidation phase off of that rally is likely a staging ground. It's a checkpoint on what will be more of the same movement, right? People look at movements like this and they think, oh, that was a one-off. We're not going to see that again. And I agree, to a certain degree, don't get me wrong, from a low to a high, an 18x, 19x move, that's going to be hard to replicate. Absolutely it will. But what if we saw a move overall that from the low to the high was larger than this move? It just took more time. Instead of taking 1, 2, 3 weeks to really come into full play, 4, 5, 6 weeks overall, what if we were in the process of a move that took 12 weeks or 8 weeks, something that took a little bit longer but was overall more robust as far as like growth goes, right? What if we were in the process of something like that? Let's take a high to a low. And again, context is key. Where we're going here is after consolidating in this range, after pumping off of this, I would think that we're not just going to see a small little move, right? In this kind of context, and let me take this move and just put it over here. We'll use that in a second. I don't think that the move we're going to get is this, right? After a move up to here, we're likely not going to spend from July of 2025 until November of 2025 consolidating just to break out and stop here what is, like 50%, not even, like 41% away from your current all-time high. Likely when we break out, we see something that is more dramatic. Again, more fitting to what we saw here, right, in response to that. Let's imagine that we do see a move that is just like this move. I don't think we're going to, but let's just imagine, okay? All right, well, first and foremost, we're already past the timing of this move. But let's say we go all the way up to about 75 cents, okay? Maybe that actually works. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe that's exactly what we get. 75 cents would be that target there, the 2272. And typically with the 2272, you actually do expect to wick a little bit above it. So something around like 78, 80 cents could very well be the target area that we have implied here by the end of the year, if not by the end of January. That's my thoughts, right? Again, this took 6 weeks. How much time do we have from here? We've got, 7 weeks left in this year. Over the next 7 weeks, we really could be at 75 cents or more. Over the next 7 weeks, we really could be. Coming off of our low there, that'd be a massive growth, right? Overall, from that low to this 2272 line, that's about the same size that we saw here. It is possible that we see something stronger. It is possible that we see something weaker, but using this kind of move as a anchor of expectations, then we expect 46 cents to 53 cents at the minimum, $1.17 at the maximum. There's other lines here, there's other lines here, and maybe we stop at any and all of those, and we probably do at various points, but I would think our target area most appropriate would be 46 cents to $1.17, somewhere in this range here, okay? something that's just shorter than this move, exactly the same length as this move, or a little bit longer than this move. And when we top off is a good question, right? It could be by the end of the year, but I think that's too easy. I think we'll top off probably in January, probably by the end of January. So I don't care where we are by the end of the year. I think this move ends ultimately by the end of January. We'll probably be somewhere, if I had to guess, between 75 cents and $1.20, somewhere in that range there. That's my thoughts. Little note just that I have in my head here is that, you know, again, with the 2272, you typically wick just above it. So maybe you wick to 81 cents, maybe. But if we see prices at like 91 cents, likely that's too far away from the 2272. Likely we don't stop there. If we get to like 91, 95 cents, we're likely going to complete the thought all the way up to $1.17. So that's just something to consider going forward, okay? But that's the thought that I have here. Now, if we take this high to a low right here from our initial listing price from Coinbase, we literally went all the way up just below the 2618. And again, as I just said, it's not common really to stop between the 2272 and the 2618. It's not common to do that. Perhaps we stopped here because, perhaps we stopped right here just below this 2618 because this is not accurate price action, right? Maybe because it's on Coinbase, maybe that's not the actual high. Perhaps the high is lower. I don't know, right? Whatever it might be, it's taken from like that first day mania, so it might not be completely well represented, but you are showing respect to various other areas, so maybe we're just coping on that. Perhaps you reached for it and you just didn't get there, and again, this is not common. Typically you do hit the 2618 in this scenario, but you didn't, and that's okay. The fact that we didn't hit the 2618 does leave the door open again to this unlikely scenario where we'd stop somewhere in between here. Maybe we stop right at $1. To be completely fair, $1 is psychological resistance. We could stop right at $1, but something between 75 cents to $1.20. That's really what I'm getting at ultimately. Okay, that's where I think we're going to go. And from here, if you're on board with that, and you're like me and you assume that this move might, you know, take until the end of the year to fully develop, maybe it takes until January to fully develop. We're looking at anything, let's say on a minimum end for my expectations, a 7.5x by the, you know, let's say by the end of January, 7.5x to a maximum expectation of about a 19x from the current price, not from the low, from the current price of about 6.1 cents. So I think that's spectacular. I think it's very spectacular. I think ZORA has that capacity in it. Let's just look at its market cap here. ZORA is at a 273, let's say $275 million market cap. A 10x from here puts you at 2.75 billion. A 40x from here would put you basically at $10 billion, right? A little bit over 10 billion. Was that like 11 billion, 11 and a half? I don't know, something like that. I mean, you could see this thing do a 100x, put you at 27, 28 billion. You could see a 200x, put you at about like 56, 60 billion, somewhere in there, right? That's fine. That's fine. Those are acceptable market caps. Something between, I think, 20 to 60 billion dollar by the end of this cycle. That's where we're going to see ZORA. And from here, a $20 billion market cap is not 100x, but that's still a pretty sizable amount of growth, right? Anyways, let's look at the short-term stuff, then we'll zoom out and we'll wrap this video up, okay? Looking at the 1 hour time frame. We're bouncing right off the oversold zone, looking good there. The same areas, I mean, we've really just been bouncing off this area for quite some time on the 1 hour time frame, dating back to the 3rd of November, which isn't that far away. It's the 11th now, but on the 1 hour, understand that's like months, right? That's like ages ago. It's like last cycle on the 1 hour time frame, right? We're just consistently finding support here. I think that we're going to find support now. We're probably going to move up. Stochastics are reset, ready to go. Hopefully they do. The MACD is unreliable, not trustworthy at all, because we're moving sideways. Every time we cross green, we are at a topping point where we should be moving higher because we crossed above the zero. Nope, we're moving lower. And then we cross below the zero here, we should be moving lower. Nope, we're at the low, and then we move up higher. You know, it's just very unreliable. Whenever you move sideways, because the MACD is a lagging indicator, when you're in these choppy zones, I mean, they're all lagging indicators, to be fair. Maybe the RSI is like proactive, but when you're moving sideways and choppy like this, the MACD especially is a little bit less reliable. 4 hour time frame, I don't expect it to be too reliable here, but if we look at it as well, you've been building some bullish momentum here. You're finally at the zero line. Across a break above this zero, I think should provide some bullish incentives afterwards. The stochastics are right at the oversold zone, perfect area to bounce. And the RSI overall, I mean, we've got higher lows and higher highs. You're just consolidating. Very kind of neutral stance here with a bullish posturing overall, right? So I do think that we'll continue moving higher over the coming days and over the coming weeks, over the coming months. But with that being said, if from here we move lower, ZORA, if you see prices go down below this low even, I think that you're okay. I think that you're fine. We can see that happen. Let's see. How low could we go? I mean, maybe we won't. We'll see though. Let's see. Low to high. Yeah, if we were to go lower, 5.2 cents, maybe even 4.68 cents at the lowest, that'd be the lowest target area that I'd have. I don't think that this is a bear flag. I don't think that we're going to see a move that goes down like this below this low. I don't think that at all. But 4.68 cents to 5.23 cents, somewhere in this area is where we'll find support if we go lower. I'm not talking about this zone because I think we're going down there. That's not the call. The call is that the low is in. But if I'm wrong, we go down here. It's my favorite because whenever I call for both of those, like the trolls will be like, "Oh, you're calling for the downside and the upside at the same time, so that you're right no matter what." I know these tricks. No, I don't. I know those tricks too. A lot of people in YouTube on crypto YouTube do that, right? They'll show you a clip of where they were talking about the price going down here, but really overall in that video they were very bullish, right? They're just labeling both sides so that they can be right no matter what. That's not what I'm doing here. If the price goes down here, I'm wrong. Let's put our money on it. Let's put our mouth where our money is, or our money where our mouth is. I think we're going higher. I think the low is in very, very clearly, definitively. But if I'm wrong, because that happens, this could be where we go. And would I be right about what I was wrong about? Sure. But I'm not going to brag about being right, right? I think that's cheap shit. Anyways, daily time frame, RSI, bouncing off the oversold area. You're slowly shifting the momentum, right? You're slowly shifting this momentum. You can see it here. It's kind of a curved bottom. Bit volatile, obviously getting overbought, getting oversold, but I think that we are at a point to bounce and recover, and we probably do. Stochastics just need to get out of the oversold zone, and then we're looking good. Not just the blue line, the blue and the orange line together, while crossed upwards, then we're good. And the MACD, same thing. We're just waiting for a cross above the zero. All in all, my friends, I have some very high prospects and hopes for ZORA. Even if we go a little bit lower, it's fine. It just means that the potential growth that you could experience is at a better opportunity. But I really do believe that from here, we will see anything. I mean, by the end of November, we could be at 21 cents to 32 cents. But by the end of this move overall, by the end of the move as a whole, we're going to see something at a minimum of 46 cents to a maximum of $1.17. And if I'm wrong about where ZORA is going, I'm not going to be wrong to the downside. I'm not going to be wrong as in we don't get as high as these levels. I would be wrong in the sense that we weren't bullish enough, that we go higher, that this move is exactly what we were saying in the beginning. It will be something truly that respects this movement here and will probably be even larger than that move. It's completely possible that 220 to $1.65 could be a target area, but that would be the absolute maximum that I could see us have happening by the end of January. I'm not there yet. Let's see how we perform before we start talking about that. I'm open to it, and I'm open to the idea of stopping here too. Just more so, I'm thinking this zone between 46 to $1.17. And if we see anything over the coming days or weeks that suggests otherwise, we'll be proactive about that. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye.